Today's episode is brought to you by the Nuance Dragon Ambient Experience, or DAX for short. Look, this is the DAX Copilot.
He's
Isn't he cute?
I love his little hat.
I do. He's great. And this is AI-powered ambient technology that helps physicians be more efficient and reduce clinical documentation burden that's driving so much burnout. To learn more about how DAX Copilot can help restore the joy of practicing medicine, stick around after the episode or visit nuance.com/discover DAX. Discover DAX. That's nuance.com/discover DAX.
Knock, knock. Hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knock Knock I with your host, me, Dr. Glockenflecken. This is your opportunity, your very valuable, special opportunity to learn about the world of eyeballs. All right, if you ever thought to yourself, man, you know what I could go for right now? Someone just talking with enthusiasm about vision or eyeball physiology or eyeball disease or whatever related to the visual pathway you might think would be relevant, and that maybe that's what you want. And well, I'm here to provide that for you to the best of my ability. So here we go. I'm recording this on a Wednesday evening about 9:30. The kids are in bed. The dog is behind me sleeping. And so this is my time to shine. This is my moment to just educate the world about eyeballs, I guess. Whatever. Let's just go jump into it here. So a couple days ago, I put a community post on YouTube asking people what they wanted to know. The episode just came out about melanoma. And, I like to get feedback. I want to hear what people are thinking about with their eyes, what questions they have about their vision. Sometimes it's related to things that are going on in the news. I got some questions about the Apple Vision Pro, and I think I did address that in a previous video, but people have a lot of questions. I like to hear those. I like to, because this is for you guys. I already know all this stuff. I want to try to educate you all and really create an army of very well-versed amateur ophthalmologists. That's my goal here, for us to eventually take over the world. So I put that post out, the community post out. And so what I'm going to do today, in a second, is go through some of these. All right, I'll give a shout out to the people that asked the question, and then I'll just answer a few. It's kind of all over the map. They were great. I got like 200 comments so far, and some of them are bigger topics I'll have to address during like a dedicated show for a particular disease, things like multiple sclerosis and stuff like that. But a lot of these are just questions that we can get through and hopefully teach you a thing or two. So before we get to that, though, we are officially through match. Last episode talked about match day, and now we're done. We're done with match. And we are in a very special time period in the medical calendar. We are in the post-match elective phase. So once you match, then you still got like 2, sometimes 3 months of med school, where you just got to figure out something to do. And usually you have to take some kind of classes. You got to do some kind of coursework. This is prime time for ophthalmology. This is it. This is when all the people that match in all different specialties, orthopedic surgery, psychiatry, general surgery, internal medicine, this is when they all want something easy to do. So ophthalmology comes in. That's what we're good at. That's where you want to come in. You want to do an ophthalmology rotation where you maybe dink around and listen to us talk to you about eyeballs for a couple hours in the morning and then take the afternoon off. We're here for you. We love it. It's fine. It's just nice to have someone maybe not listen to us talk about eyeballs, but at least be there and hearing our voices. I don't know. I think it was kind of fun. Whenever I was a resident, we'd have the med students come through later in the year. You know they don't care. I mean, come on, I remember specifically one year we had an orthopedic surgery. A student who just bashed into orthopedic surgery showed up without shame to an ophthalmology elective. And like, dude, this is bold of you. I mean, we know why you're here, and you know what? I respected it. I respect it. Because you want something easy. You're about to graduate. You're about to embark on like 5 years of borderline torture in residency. Have a few easy months. I get it. Well, I'm happy. Ophthalmology is great for that. And it made me think about the rotations that I did in that time period in my med school. Let me tell you what I did. I did 2 weeks in dermatology. I did 2 weeks of rheumatology, which actually was not as easy as I thought it would be. They took it very seriously. There was like cytokine talk in that rotation. Did not appreciate that very much. I did a 1 month research elective. Got a lot done on that rotation, that's for sure. I had a whole project and everything that, of course, went nowhere. But it was, I got credit for it. I don't know. You got to do like 1 month of research, and I chose that time period for my research elective or whatever. So anyway, that was what I did. It's just a beautiful time. It's wonderful. So, all right, let's see. Should we? Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get started here with this Q&A. All right, here we go. So these are all coming from YouTube community posts. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, by the way. There was news that just came out recently that once again, Congress is thinking about shutting down TikTok. So I post all my skits, all my videos on TikTok and on YouTube. So everything goes to now on Instagram as well. So all the content gets everywhere. But if you do watch me on TikTok, if for some reason that app goes away, I doubt it ever actually will. You can always find all this stuff on YouTube. And sometimes I post community posts like this, and I love to hear from all the subscribers out there. So check that out. So let's start with the first one here. So this is from @JessicaFreeze8504 said, curious if those look at a distant object for 20 seconds every 20 minutes iOrganomic tips are actually good advice for computer users. So what Jessica is referring to is something that I probably say several times a day. Every 20 minutes, you should be taking 20 seconds and looking 20 feet away from your computer screen. It doesn't necessarily have to be a computer screen. It can be whatever you're doing. If you're doing a lot of reading, doing a lot of writing, you're on a screen or not on a screen. It's just good practice for a couple reasons. One is it does relax your accommodation. So accommodation is the inside your eye, you have these little things called ciliary muscles, little tiny muscles. And what they do is they change the shape of your lens inside your eye, allowing you to focus up close. So when those muscles are activated, they're contracting, you see up close. It's called accommodation. All right. So if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 35, not so much when you're 40, but still a little bit in your 40s, if you're working up close, you are contracting those muscles, you're focusing. Sometimes for hours. Working on a computer, reading a book, whatever it is, playing video games, you are contracting those muscles. And you can start to get a headache if you're doing that for too long. So it's called asthenopia is the name for it, which is just the constant contraction just fatigues your eyes. And a lot of times people will start to get a little brow ache right above the eyes. And so we tell people, okay, well, you need to relax your accommodation. So how do you relax your accommodation? You look as far away in the distance as you possibly can. That's what you do. Now, this is different maybe for people who are already nearsighted. You nearsighted people, you have a little bit of a leg up on us non-nearsighted people because your eyes naturally focus up close. You don't have to accommodate. You don't have to squeeze those little muscles. Your eyes just naturally do that. Now the downside is your distance vision sucks, but your up close is good. And then if you accommodate, then you will see like way up close, which you usually don't have to do. So anyway, for the rest of us, we're focusing up close by looking way out in the distance, at least 20 feet away. It allows you to relax those muscles. That's what you're doing. You're just taking, it doesn't take long, 20 seconds. Just give those muscles a chance to relax and can help prevent you from developing those headaches associated with long hours looking at things close to you. So that's the first reason that we tell people to do the 20-20-20. Take 20, every 20 minutes, take 20 seconds, look 20 feet away. The other thing is to help with dry eye. Studies have shown whenever we're on screens or reading or watching TV, we're basically doing something that really holds our attention, we don't blink as much as we should. Our blink rate goes down. Well, guess what? You need to blink. Your eyelids, they're windshield wipers. They just reset everything. They lubricate the cornea. If the front of your eye gets dry, you're going to get blurry. The eyes are going to feel sandy, gritty. That's why I'm sure we've all been there. You're just scrolling through TikTok or YouTube. You're watching TV. You're playing video games. I remember growing up, just all night with friends playing GoldenEye, Smash Brothers. What else did we play? Mario Kart, Halo, all these things. Hours. A few LAN parties I used to go to back in the day. Shout out LAN parties. Spend all night on a screen, and and eventually you get up to go to the bathroom or eat something, and you suddenly blink, and it's like sandpaper. That's what happens. That's what happens when you're on a screen. You don't blink, your eyes will dry out. So part of that 20-20-20 is just reminding people to look away, because by looking away, it's just your reminder. It allows you to like blink a few times or just rest your eyes closed temporarily. Just to keep the eyes lubricated. So they're not so much like eye ergonomics or exercises. It's just general health of the eye. Relaxes that accommodation and also helps you blink and lubricate your eyes better. So that's the 20-20-20 thing. It's a great question. Thank you, Jessica. All right, let's go to M. Knight 9251 said, are there exercises a person can do with their eyes that would put off the need of getting reading glasses, or at least delay? I get asked this question a lot because nobody likes reading glasses. It's always a really tough transition for people who start needing reading glasses. So why do people need reading glasses? Well, I already talked about people in their, when we're born, when we're young, in our teens, 20s, 30s, even early 40s, we have this remarkable ability to contract those muscles in the eye and focus up close. Well, that ability starts to wane in your 40s. It's very difficult. It's called presbyopia, and it comes for us all. It's as certain as death. Your eyes will lose the ability to accommodate. All right, hasn't happened to me yet. I am 38, but it will happen relatively soon. I can feel it sometimes. It's a bit more of a struggle. I'm kind of holding things a little bit further away from me when I'm trying to read small things because my eyes they get tired focusing up close. So that's why people start needing reading glasses. There are no exercises that you can do that's going to stave this off. All right. It's a fact of life. It comes for us all. And presbyopia does. And it's one of those things you have to learn to accept. We have great tools, glasses, things, even contacts, even monovision. Some people hate glasses so much, they'll go to a system where they wear a contact in one eye, and they have one eye that's good for distance, one eye that's good for reading. That's called monovision. People do it all the time. kind of messes a little bit with your depth perception, but yeah, people do that. And so reading glasses are, the sooner you can get used to them, the better, because they're not going away for the most part. There's exceptions to that. When we talked about cataract surgery a couple months ago, there's special lenses you can get that will help you accommodate and see distance and near without glasses. The technology is always improving for that type of thing, but which is very exciting, because presbyopia is correcting and fixing presbyopia is kind of like the final frontier of ophthalmology surgery. It's like that's the one thing we haven't really been able to completely get right. It's hard. It's a hard problem to fix, because it's basically reversing the aging process of the eye. Not really reversing it, because you're not inserting new muscles that will all of a sudden do what a 20-year-old eye can do. In fact, I'm always telling people, I can't give you 20-year-old eyes again. As much as you wish I could, I can't do that. So there are definitely limits to our technology now, but reading glasses have been around forever, and they're not going anywhere. So just accept it. Accept it, my friend. Reading glasses are a fact of life. But thank you for that. I don't want to be too much of a downer, but it's true. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's go to, I love this one. I love this. So at user-bm7uu5mm5n, looks like just a randomly generated username, says, as I age, my depth perception looking out in front of me is fine, but looking down is another story. Navigating steps, etc., at times can be scary. Why is there a difference? So that's an interesting topic. Actually, I really find depth perception fascinating, because you would think, I think the if you ask anybody, at least a random person, they would think that you have to have two eyes to have depth perception. I feel like that's what we're probably told growing up, right? Depth perception is like your two eyes together. Well, there's two different kinds of depth perception, actually. There's binocular depth perception, but there's also monocular cues, what we call monocular cues, that allow you to have depth perception with even one eye. So I have lots of patients that have one eye, and they have depth perception. You can have one eye and still have depth perception. You can drive with one eye. I have lots of patients that have just one eye. They're out there driving. They qualify for a license. You can do that. That's totally legal in pretty much every state. You can drive with one eye as long as it's a healthy eye. And that's because you do have depth perception still while driving, which is very important while you're driving. So let's talk about depth perception, then we'll get back to that question. So binocular vision, depth perception. So your ability to judge distance with both eyes together, there's two ways you're doing this. All right, so one is called disparity. So basically, each eye sees a slightly different image, okay? And they come together to produce the world that you see. And so because our eyes are separated, they have the ability to see greater depth than if they were like either close together or just one eye. So think about like hammerhead sharks. That's a good example. Their eyes are so far apart, they have a much greater depth perception, because their visual fields, they have two different visual fields. Each eye sees a different visual field, but they have overlap. And that's important. If you don't have any overlap of the two eyes, then you won't have that binocular depth perception. But you have overlap, and so there's an area of their visual field that both eyes are seeing, and that gives you the ability to judge distance. It's kind of complicated, but that's, I think, the best way I can explain it. Another binocular clue, the way you use both eyes to judge depth perception, is with convergence. So if you're looking up close, your eyes converge. If you look in a mirror or have someone look in a mirror, or look at someone while they are have someone look at their finger, move their finger in closer to toward their nose, you'll see the eyes start to come together. They'll converge on that. So when looking at a close-up object, your eyes will angle inward, kind of toward each other. All right. And that gives your brain a clue as to how far away an object is, because using both eyes, you have that overlapping visual field. So we kind of just intuitively know, both eyes together. Yeah, we can judge distance with both eyes together. I think what's interesting, what people don't realize, won't think about, are the monocular clues. That's probably surprising to a lot of you. Like, really, you can have one eye and still judge depth? Well, yeah. There's a lot of clues that allow you to do that. So take accommodation into consideration. So I just talked about the fact that you can use the muscles in your eye to change the focus of something, right? You can look in the distance, and then you accommodate, and you look up close. All right, so that if something's in focus, if something's fuzzy, that it's either going to be farther away from you or much, much closer to you. And the thing that's in focus, that's your focal point. So if you're looking at something and something kind of beyond it is a little bit more fuzzy, that's farther away. So you can use your accommodation where you're focusing to see other things that are out of focus that are going to be a little bit further away or up close. Okay. There's also something called motion parallax. So that's if you move your head, objects that are closer to you will appear to move more than objects that are further away. So that gives you an idea with one eye, and that just takes one eye, right? You move your head around, objects that are much closer to you are going to move more, and that sends a signal to your brain like, oh, that object is close, right? Things like superposition, you can tell one object is in front of another, all right? So because they're overlapping, right? One object is in front of the other, and you use that with motion parallax to tell, okay, that's clearly in front. There's depth there. The other object, the bigger or the smaller object, is further away. What else? Things like relative size. That's another one where we just know, like, a tree is probably, like a big oak tree is going to be bigger than a person, right? Or a bus is going to be bigger than a bicycle. So we can use our relative size, what we know about object size, to determine if an object is further or closer away. And our brain is just doing all of this on its own. We don't think about all these things. But if you were to patch an eye and just walk around, you'd still be able to tell, oh, that dog is in front of that tree. Or that stop sign is further away than that house or that parked car. Like, you can tell that. Now, it's not like pinpoint, perfect. So there's going to be limitations to it, especially as you get further away. It gets harder, but you still have that ability. That's why our brains are amazing. They can do stuff like that. So getting back to the question here, as I age, my depth perception looking out in front of me is fine, but looking down is another story, navigating steps. So if his depth perception looking far away is better than up close, then that tells me that you've got probably pretty good monocular clues, but you may be losing your binocular depth perception, because that is better like within 6 feet, 6 to 10 feet of you. Okay, so if you're having more trouble with navigating distance or depth with things that are closer, then it might be that your eyes aren't working together as well. And there can be a lot of different reasons for that. Maybe your vision's getting a little bit blurry in one eye. So you're favoring one eye versus the other. You're kind of ignoring one eye. Or as you get older, I don't know how old this person is, but you tend to start losing your convergence, your ability to bring the two eyes together. We're getting really into the weeds of some of this vision stuff, so I hope you're still listening. I think this is fascinating stuff. These are questions. These are great because these are questions that I get asked in clinic all the time, especially as we age. Things like depth perception does break down a little bit, and we start, sometimes we have eyes that wander, like one eye will go out or in, or so there's all kinds of things that can happen. Where are we at? We're at 24 minutes into this. Let's see. I'm just spending a lot of time on this one. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can knock out a couple more. As a software developer, this is at Catalina Rondini 6235. She says, or this person, I don't know if it's a woman, but if this person says, as a software developer, I've been genuinely curious if blue light is a real dangerous thing or if it's just something that people made up to sell a different set of glasses. And if it is a serious thing, how detrimental is blue light to the eyeballs? Yeah, I get the blue light question a lot. Yes, it is a real thing. And yes, it is something that people use to sell different types of glasses. So there are people that are abusing the blue light fear, or like fear-mongering blue light, that will sell you a pair of glasses that you don't need. You guys, blue light is in everything. Everything. It's in sunlight, it's in ambient light, it's in room light. You cannot just get away from blue light. So don't let anybody tell you that blue light is harmful to your eyes. It's as harmful as ultraviolet light is. I mean, actually, that's not even true. Ultraviolet is a different spectrum. Ultraviolet light is more dangerous, but you can't separate out I'm thinking with sunlight. Like it's silly to try to separate out blue light and block that while letting ultraviolet light in. Or so it's blue light is not dangerous because it's in everything. The one thing that studies do support is that excessive amounts of blue light can upset your circadian rhythm. So, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to be looking at your phone for like 2 hours right before you go to bed. We're all terrible at it. I myself included. I will sit there and scroll through TikTok for 20 minutes before I just put it down and go to sleep. Why do I do that? I don't know, because I don't want the day to end, because it means that I'll have to get up and go to work the next morning. That's why. It's I think it's a thing. I think there's a word for it. I'm trying to think of it, but it's where it's some kind of psychological issue where you're like, if I just don't go to sleep, then the morning won't come, and that means I get to keep doing whatever I want at night, because in the morning that means work. I don't know. None of that makes sense, but you know what I mean. So there are studies that show that it does. Lots of blue light can upset your circadian rhythm a bit. So if there's one indication for blue light blocking glasses, it would be if you are dead set on being on your phone or tablet or whatever it is at night before going to bed. Or you could just get in the habit of not looking at your phone right before bed. That's the other thing. So you don't have to spend all this money on glasses. All right, so there's really no reason. There's no reason you ever have to buy blue light blocking glasses. All right, there's nothing to suggest that it helps with eye strain. I have patients that come in and they swear by that, though. They say, hey, it does. These glasses, they help me. I think there's probably a big potential for placebo effect in these things. But it's also other than just wasting your money, it's not harmful to get blue light blocking glasses. It's fine. I'm not going to get mad at you. It's not like you're using Visine or something. That's okay. If you want to wear the blue light blocking glasses, wear the blue light blocking. It's your money. Do whatever you want with it. I'm just telling you that for things that these blue light blocking glass companies or whoever makes these, they will market it. These are the marketing strategies. It's always, it protects the eye from damage. False. It protects the eye from strain. False. If you feel like it does that for you, I'm not going to argue with you, all right? Because again, it's not a harmful thing to wear these glasses. I'm just telling you what the data shows. Does it help with your normalizing your circadian rhythm? It seems like that's the one. That's the thing. That's the indication. Okay, so that's my blue light blocking spiel. All right, let's do one more. There's so many comments, so we could do this all day. We'll do one more, though. 26 days out from the solar eclipse when I'm reading this. So by the time this comes out, it'll probably be like a few days. A review of safe eclipse watching and what happens to your licking balls if you don't practice safe eclipse watching practices. Okay, so this is probably a whole episode I could do on solar retinopathy. In fact, I might have already done that. I can't remember. I'm bad about keeping a list of all the topics I've done, so I'm trying very hard, you guys, not to repeat any eyeball topics for you guys. But so you have to have, there's a specific degree of, it's like welders. It's welder's glass. That's what it is. You have to, like, welder's grade glass. It's very dark. That that's the only way it's safe to look up at the solar eclipse. You got to wear welder's grade glass or be looking at it through that type of material. Okay, if you don't use the right protection, then you are risking what's called solar retinopathy, which is where the bright sunlight comes in through the front of your eye, and like the eye is supposed to do, it will focus that light, right? Because you're focusing light all the time. Your cornea and your lens is focusing light onto your fovea. That's your retina. The very important part of your retina where a whole bunch of rods and cones are. The photoreceptors, the light sensing cells, the fovea. Most important part of your eye for your pinpoint perfect vision. That perfect vision you like to have, you can thank your fovea for that. So all the light that you see, it's coming in, it's being focused by your eye. Some of us focus it better than others. Sorry, nearsighted people. You struggle with that. Fortunately, glasses exist. So if you're going to be looking at this bright sunlight, it's going to get focused onto that fovea, that really bright sunlight, and it will burn a hole in your fovea. That's what you risk by not using the correct glasses or welder's glass, whatever it is. And you can be left with a permanent blind spot right in the center of your vision. There's nothing we can do about that because you've essentially melted the photoreceptors in that spot. And I can't make you new photoreceptors. So don't do that. Don't do that. Enjoy the eclipse. I love the eclipse. I love viewing a solar eclipse safely. It's really a cool thing. So enjoy it, but please do it safely. Please do it safely. This is why I get crazy about people that talk about sun gazing and all this stuff. It's just like this, no, don't do it. All right. I think we'll stop there. But that was a lot of fun. Did I do it? Don't do that eyeball tip. I think I just did. The don't do that eyeball tip of the week. We'll go with appropriate solar eclipse viewing practices. All right. It's got some kind of welder's glass. I think there's like a number to it. I don't know. If you know, like, comment, let me know on YouTube. But it's dark. It's like a really dark glass that you're looking through. So it almost like you can still see the solar eclipse, but it's really actually pretty cool to look through this glass because you don't want it so freaking bright. Don't burn your retinas, please. You need those things. All right. Thank you all for listening. That's our episode. I am your host again, Will Flannery, also known as Dr. Glockenflecken. Thanks to my producers, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brook. Editor and engineer is Jason Portiza. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. Knock Knock Hi is a human content production. We'll see you next time.
Knock, knock. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Help you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.